Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me today. Well, we are talking about Oscar's video that everybody wants me to cover, this Q&A. I've read some stuff on the Reddit thread, and it's apparently half cringy, half like upset-inducing. Kyra apparently has some creepy smile going on the whole time, but I'm pretty sure Oscar's just doing this because either she told him to or he's capitalizing. I'm tending to lean towards that she told him to do this or something. She wants to clear her name. I don't know. She seems to not have the image she wants, right? She wants to go back to the way it was, but that ship has sailed considering what she has done. But apparently they answer all these questions here, so let's take a look at it. But before we get to that, it is Friday, and my higher tiered members on my YouTube and my Patreon get to be put on the wheel right here. I spin it, and somebody wins a prize. And at the end of the month, every single member gets to be put on the wheel. So without further ado, let's do this.
Yeah, baby.
Kelly Gregory, you win the prize. Reach out to me, Josh, at thedadchallengepodcast.com with your shirt size and your address, and I'm gonna hook you up. Let's go. Well, if you're new to the okbaby saga, what's been continuing ongoing is that Kyra from okbaby decided she wanted to throw her family under the bus, ruin the whole situation, because she wanted to go find some strange taint, which, by my opinion and by my eyewitness's opinion and the threesome that they tried to get in Vegas, they'd been together since long before they made that video or she decided to. And I feel like Oscar knows that. I feel like Kyra's just, it's not going to be in her best interest to ever admit it. Maybe sometime in the future when her channel's completely dead, she's like, fine, I'll tell you the truth, right? Because it's going to get her $1 million, right? But up until this point, she's not admitted it. Although everybody kind of sees it as soon as you leave a relationship because you want to go discover yourself, but like not a week later, you're with that guy who your kids know, who was your nanny's husband, who was a producer of your shitty podcast. All that, people just see it, right? And even if she didn't cheat, it still doesn't make it right what she did. Okay, it's just nasty. And so what we've been seeing is Oscar's kind of been trying to put his life together, go off and do his thing, and just never throws her under the bus and everything else. He's just trying to be a good co-parent to his kids, which everybody respects, right? Whereas in Kyra, it just seems to be still pulling the strings behind the scenes and trying to get him to do these things. And currently, I just went to download this video this morning and all the comments are turned off. So I don't know what's going on. If there was a lot of bad comments against Kyra and he doesn't want to see it, it seems to be that's what's happening. Or she told him to turn the comments off or take the video down. Right? Because that's her choice. If she doesn't want her video on his channel, she can say that. I do have to give them both props though for what it looks like they are actually co-parenting. They're not fighting. But I feel like Oscar, what it does is it shows that Oscar was kind of the pushover the whole time and Kyra just continues to be the person that pushes. So you know what I mean? And Oscar just like wants to be free and peaceful and all this stuff. If anything, Oscar went and found himself after this and Kyra just found herself in a whole heap of shit. Right? And just found herself, oh, I'm this piece of garbage here. Oh, my bad. I think Kyra is absolutely flabbergasted at the response of people on the internet. Considering today, to go dump your whole family, to go discover yourself, some people would say, hey, yeah, do what you got to do. Right? And other people, most people with a brain in their heads, would be like, hey, that's kind of gross. Right? If there's abuse, if there's all this other kind of stuff going on, like we get that, right? But as far as we could tell, they were both kind of hot-headed to a degree, and they probably got in a lot of fights. And you know, they're YouTubers, they're narcissistic people who exploited their children online, and so there's probably going to be that. But what it just seems like is Kyra just thought the grass is greener on the other side, not where you water it. Right? And so she goes to get the greener grass, and she goes over there and realizes the greener grass is like ruining someone else's marriage, and just taking that guy, even though they were your best friend. Right? Kyra, I just honestly believe she just to this day, she's like, why do people like, what do you mean? It says Yas Queen. Are we in the Yas Queen era? I'm Yas Queening here. How come you're not Yas Queening me? And I kind of agree. Like, I'm surprised that she is not more Yas Queened. But I think that's because of the way that Oscar's dealt with this whole thing and the portrayal of what he's doing. Right? I think he's just like, it feels like he's the victim and he keeps getting stomped on. And people are like, okay, well, stop stomping on him. Okay, he's down. But that's not, I mean, that's kind of my take on the whole thing. I could be wrong. I'm kind of cloudy today. I don't know what's going on in my brain, but let's see if we can get through this video together. It's pretty short, so I'm sure we can. Look, I'm going to say it, and I'm betraying my own heart here. But I love Arnold Palmer iced tea. It's my favorite thing in the world, okay? I don't drink soda. I drink, here's what I drink. I drink water, iced coffee, and Arnold Palmer iced tea. But they didn't have any Arnie Palmy left. I don't know what's going on in Canada. They don't sell the cans anymore for some reason. But there's this thing called Gold Peak iced tea raspberry. Look, it's this close to being better than Arnold Palmer. I kid you not. And so I feel like I'm betraying Arizona by doing that, even though I pay them a lot of money to drink their shit. But I just feel like, man, Gold Peak, if you haven't had Gold Peak iced tea, people, I did a video a little while ago about how Americans sweet tea or Americans iced tea is like gross because it's like tea. It tastes like you put a tea bag in water. Our iced tea is like a sugary drink. Like it's delicious. Your iced tea tastes like literal tea. And so many people are confused, like, okay, it's iced tea, asshole, and I agree with you. But that's just not how we grew up. So we just grew up thinking iced tea was some kind of sugary-ass beverage, which it is here. And so apparently you have to get sweet tea if you go to the States. Ask for sweet tea, which is what we consider iced tea. Does that make sense? Do you guys have Gold Peak in the States? Because if you don't, go try the raspberry one. I'm pretty sure you can get it at, I don't know, grocery stores and shit. Anyway, what a minute. Sorry. Let's do this. Oh!
Thought it'd be fun to do a Q&A with the one and only Kyra.
It's already cringy.
Some of you guys' questions. You guys have a lot of them.
Some juicy ones.
Yeah, some juicy ones. So instead of beating around the bush, let's just go ahead and get right into these questions. Question number 1.
How do you feel about Kyra's new boyfriend?
Why is she being all weird? Kyra, just be a normal person, okay? Why don't you just take it seriously for a minute? Because what she's doing here is she's like, that's because you don't take it seriously. Everybody else seems to, this is the reason everybody hates you, Kyra. Pay attention. All she had to do was here. Just ask the question. What do you think about my new boyfriend, Oscar? And just be a real human about it. Stop being a rusty taint.
Ooh, that's a good one. I was definitely shocked at first. It was definitely an adjustment.
Why is she smiling about this? Just have a normal face. He just said I felt betrayed. And she's like, did you? Poor baby, you're betrayed by me doing that to you? Poor Kyra, you're an asshole. All right. But as usual, you got to read between the lines when Oscar says something, and he's allowing you to read between the lines by writing what's between the lines at the bottom of the screen. At first, I felt anger, betrayal, but over time, I realized that those feelings were only hurting myself. So it was time to get over them and adjust accordingly in order to benefit myself and all parties involved. Now, at least he's being honest. I need to get over it to benefit himself, right? Because holding hate in your heart isn't going to help, especially for your kids, especially if that's your baby mom. In the end, he's right. Kyra is his baby's mom, right? Those are his children that he loves. Those are her children that she loves. And the fact that he's actually just being the adult here is very rare. This is why more people are on Oscar's side on this whole thing, by the way. Because he's just trying to live life. I know people want him to throw her under the bus and treat her like garbage, like that she deserves and everything else. But the fact that he's not doing that actually just speaks more volumes about who he is. The fact that she's smiling through this whole thing speaks volumes about who she is. But in the end, Oscar knows it benefits the kids to not treat their mom like garbage. And that is smart. And I hope that Kyra's doing the same thing. I hope she is. I can't see her throwing him under the bus either, because if that were the case, I don't think they'd be sitting here doing a video.
A little, I wouldn't say it caught me off guard,
but kinda.
Yeah.
Why did it catch him off guard?
Definitely. It's just weird because of who it was. Truthfully, if she dated anybody else, I wouldn't care.
She is uncomfort.
The positives of it have been that the kids were already comfortable with him, already kind of knew him, and so...
That's not Oscar, it's not a positive, man. There's so much to unpack here, what he just said. You know, it's because of who it was, right? So he felt completely betrayed, and he says the words, I felt betrayed. Because Oscar, I honestly believe Oscar knows, and now is starting to probably put some pieces together after when my video dropped about this Vegas girl saying it was about 9 months before they had this meeting, which places them about 6 months before the breakup. Oscar's probably trying to put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh my God. Oh. And then starting realizing things, maybe even dismantling some videos and some footage that he has, watching the podcast. I don't know. He knows. Preston and Kyra know. But Oscar's not going to say anything because it doesn't really benefit his children. Just doesn't. But also, let's break it down like, oh, they already know him. Yeah, well, they know him as their nanny's husband. And don't get it twisted, everybody. They were married. Preston and Hannah were married. 100%. And so I don't think that I don't think Oscar really thought that phrase through. Well, they knew him. Well, they knew him as somebody who was their nanny's husband. So, but now mommy's boyfriend? You don't think later when these kids are going down the teenage path where they hate their parents, because all teenagers do, and they're not going to hold resentment to their mom for doing that? This is the scariest thing about this, what they're doing and what they're doing online. When these kids get older and have friends and go to high school and everything else, their entire parents' history is on the internet. They're going to see that their mom, Kyra, basically, if I'm right and my witness is right and they were lying to them, cheated on the dad and left for another woman's husband. That's just going to be there forever, Kyra. Ever. And your kids are going to be the ones that are going to have to deal with that in public. Just so you're aware. That's what I'm saying. Stop doing this shit on the internet. All of it. Stop. And if you're gonna, don't put your kids in it. Apparently, PewDiePie is having a baby. Someone sent me a bunch of videos. And there is absolutely no reason on earth for PewDiePie ever to expose that child to the internet. And I hope he does not. He is more wealthy beyond wealthy can be wealthy. Okay? There's not a necessity whatsoever to ever even tell the internet that baby's name or show its likeness ever once. Just let that be, I hope he's smart enough.
The transition into that was a little easier, which is kind of nice, but it was still really, really awkward.
Transition into what? Does he live there?
Comfortable.
Do you feel like it's better?
Yeah. I feel like our friendship isn't there anymore, but hey, that's what it has to be.
Yeah, he's admitting that. We used to be friends. We used to have friends. And Kyra, again, that's just one more thing where Kyra's selfish. He was friends with Preston. Kyra knows that they were friends, but it's like, well, too bad for everybody involved. I want my strange taint. The end. And you can't have a friend anymore, and you're going to burn that bridge, and you're going to leave your wife, and you're going to do all this. And everybody that seems to be in the circle is a dickhole, except for Oscar and Hannah, apparently. And do you think that Preston in his circles, now that everybody knows, he's getting, I know he tried to take everything down off the internet about him, and he likely doesn't want to be in this channel. He doesn't, right? Because he's going to have to be in the workforce eventually. Or he's going to go on and do a family vlog with Kyra, which, oh my God, I would tear to literal shreds every single day. It would be just a joy. So he's gonna have one or two things to do. He's going to become an internet person with Kyra, or he's going to go into the real world, and the real world's going to find out who he is. And they're going to judge him, and they should, because he's a flaming dickweed.
It's just, you guys are doing your thing.
Question number 2.
That was a weird answer all around, by the way.
Any regrets on how you handled the split?
I think every breakup is going to come with regrets, and especially in the sense of how things are handled. There's really no perfect way. I do kind of regret how I handled things online. Actually, not kind of, a lot. I do feel like I was trying to pretend I was okay when truly I wasn't.
Oh, you just made it about yourself again. Strange that. I was pretending I was okay. Okay from what? You're the one who did all of this, Kyra. What do you mean you were okay? You surprised him with this breakup. This isn't. He didn't do this. That I was okay. No one cares because of what you did. Because likely you're cheating. Because of who's the man is now in your life. What do you mean how you're okay? Did she just say that?
And I should have accepted and not embraced, but just been okay with having emotions at the time. And then also, I think I should have given you more space and not tried to be friends right away.
That's very telling, actually. Should have given you more space. Meaning she kept him close because she wanted to make sure the money was in place. She wanted to make sure she got what she got because she's the type A. She's the one. Oscar got flamed in this whole thing. He got taken for a ride. Too little, too late. But he did it because, it's his kid's mom. I get it. And he probably would do it again the same way. But he got flamed, and she got everything. And she's now spending money galore. Apparently, there's a video out there where she takes her kids out of the private schools, or something that she pays for, the daycares or something, where she's like, oh, yeah, we're going to try to save money. It's too expensive for this, but yet buys $15,000 worth of fake boobs and buys purses and new vehicles. Kyra is a flaming wreck right now. And again, saying I should have been more, honest. I should have just had more emotions. The only emotion that she had was in the okbaby channel broke up. That's it.
Yeah, I can see that. I regret the way I acted out of emotion towards the end of our relationship because I saw it coming. Lashed out a few times. I hate that I did that. Wish we went to therapy. The minute you started having those feelings, I wish you would have told me. We could have tried to go into therapy.
Well, the minute she was having those feelings, she couldn't tell you because she was likely cheating on you with Preston. That's over at that point. She didn't want to tell you because therapy wouldn't help because that shit would have blown up if she told you the truth. Maybe she told you the truth a year ago before she was having these thoughts, but I think what happened with Preston, and I could be wrong, again, this is just me saying my opinion, is that because he was helping them produce and Hannah was in their life and they were in their lives, they developed a relationship way before any of this shit went down, and it just started escalating. And so she can't tell you that. She can't be like, well, let's go to therapy because I'm cheating on you. So it probably just escalated to an evening or something where they're getting drunk and they made a bad choice. And they're like, well, we're in it now, so let's go.
I would say, for those of you who are feeling any sort of way towards your significant other, let them know immediately, seek therapy, try to fix it as soon as possible, and nip it in the butt before it becomes...
Nip it in the bud. But, again, that's why I feel like this is more about her cheating than anything else. That's the only thing that really makes sense.
An overwhelming feeling that you can't escape anymore, you know?
Question. You guys like to crying. I mean, this is so cringy to watch.
Number 3.
I want to know why she's all of a sudden adventurous with Preston, yet she isn't with you. I actually read this question before we answered it on camera, and I was a little confused because I'm not adventurous. Like, I don't do any of the things that you wanted to do, like skydiving, rock climbing.
Sex. They're talking sex.
Like, all those things that you love, I still don't do. I'm guessing that this person means, like, traveling.
No, they mean sex.
Because that's the only thing adventurous that I do now that I didn't do before. And that's only because I had my kids all the time before, and now I go a week without them. So, you know, I have time to do
I thought you still traveled while you were with me.
I did too, but...
Yeah, with fucking idiots in Nashville and shit. Remember the old Nashville trip? That was a doozy.
That's the only thing I can think that they're referring to.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing, huh? I was like, oh, because I haven't...
Sex. Why, you're doing threesomes and everything else and selling sex toys from your drawer and showing everybody your sex dungeon and shit after. I mean, are they really being this obtuse?
Like, keep up with your social media, and so I was wondering, like, oh, has she been more adventurous? I was actually kind of proud of you. I was like, oh, well, whatever it takes for you to be more adventurous, I feel like it just brings more opportunities to you. You get to have more experience.
People are so dumb.
Which is nice, and so that's what it took. Whatever, at least you're doing it.
I do think I'm more adventurous in my own ways, but
You're not. You're adventurous because daddy gets what daddy wants. That's what you're adventurous with. Your hair colors and shit.
You're talking about the type of Oscar adventure. I will never do those things. That's not my personality. It doesn't matter who I'm with. What I do and don't do is based off of what I do and don't want to do, not...
Okay. Again, you guys missed this whole thing.
Who I'm with, if that makes sense. Question number 4.
Oscar always says that he wants to move to a different place. Do you think that will be possible? I am dying to move back to California.
Yeah, and you should. Honestly, this is the point where you get a lawyer. Because what's holding you there? Preston is holding... Hear this out for a second, everybody. What's the grossest thing about this question, and I know I'm going to say what I'm going to say before he answers it, is that the anchor for them all staying in this place is Preston. Hear that. Hear that again. She's staying because that's where Preston is. The whole family now has to stay because that's where Preston is. I don't think Oscar sees it that way, but that's exactly what's going on. Because what else? Who else is there? You don't have any friends, Kyra. Obviously, no one wants to be your friend, especially if they have a husband. Okay? But Oscar, you can do this. Just call a lawyer, man.
I feel like there's so much more opportunity for me there. I feel like the kids have a village out there, and they would be able to grow up around their cousins, aunts and uncles, everything, you know what I mean? I guess they don't really have cousins, but I consider my baby brother their cousin right now.
Yeah, which they do love.
Yeah.
That would be their uncle, but okay. And he's right. He's got a village. She doesn't have a village. And I'm not saying that's her fault. She obviously has shitty parents, or I guess her mom has passed away since then, and she had a terrible relationship with her mom, and she doesn't have the village like he has the village. And also Oscar's heritage, the village matters. Pretty sure. When I'm talking to Pierre from the royalty family situation, he's talking about that whole thing. The whole village is like all about the children, the grandchildren, the cousins. It's all really there. The kids don't have that right now. Literally, they're split up between 2 houses. One of the homes is a mom with a new boyfriend who used to be the nanny's husband. Right? So just hear that for a second. Oscar wants their kids to have an enriched childhood full of family memories and everything else. And she's like, no, but Preston's here. So we're going to stay here because Preston.
And so I would die. You don't think you'd ever move back?
I don't think we could ever afford California. And
I'll give her that, though. Shit's expensive.
If we both moved back right now, you would be living with your mom or some sort of family. Mm-hmm. I don't know what my situation would be. I'm willing to move, but not to California. There's no way. I would be struggling for the rest of my life, and I don't ever want to be housebroke, and that's what I would be in California no matter what.
I agree with her. That's okay. So that's a good excuse. Like, look, I don't want to move to California because it's super expensive. So, are Oscar's parents wealthy or something? Because I don't think that they are. I mean, I think what she means is she wants to live a lavish lifestyle and cannot live that lavishly like she's living here in California. Which, okay, you're accustomed to a certain way, and you don't want to live. I get that. Like, come on, we can be there with her.
Also, yes, it would be beneficial to live close to family, but because we pay so little to live here, we can afford to travel to see our family. And to be honest, I think Oscar and I guess I can't speak for you anymore.
Well, you still will.
But there was a point in our life where we didn't like to be around family that much, and I do think that feeling...
No, you didn't like to be around people's families. They didn't like to be around you. That's what I'm hearing here. So, and he just went along with it because that's what Oscar does.
Would come back if we lived around them. Plus, our kids are used to around here. I love the environment around here, like the
Mormons.
seasons. So there's really
what? Oh, 4 seasons.
Really is benefits to both. Like, don't get me wrong, California has things that's great about it, but there's also things about California that's absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
and those are the things for me that I just can't see making work. So who knows what the future brings, but I definitely don't think California's in it for me.
I agree with her here. But I think he'd do Florida. I mean, if Oscar's family, depends how many people are there. What if Oscar's family and everybody, I mean, then they'd be asking everybody to uproot their lives for them. And I get that. I understand that. So it seems like California's the hinge, not the family. Though she did throw it in there as well. Like, obviously she's not going to have a good relationship with this family anymore. They're going to hate her. That's loyal. That's just what loyal people do. If she wrongs the person, that's just how it works. And it sounds like they didn't have a good relationship to begin with anyway, because Kyra doesn't have a good relationship with anybody. So, but I get it. I do get it too, right? That's a hard one. That's a good question.
Now, what Oscar chooses to do is never, like, in my control, but obviously I want him around the kids, and we've talked about different options as far as in the future. If he does move there, how would the kids work? So we've explored those options, and we may again in the future, but for now, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
She did just move in too and sign a lease, and so did he.
I wouldn't say we didn't like to be around family, though. I would say that we were just always busy doing our own thing. We were really high energy. And
yeah, that's like, I'm just putting it in a very...
No, she didn't like to be around them because they didn't like her. That's it. I mean, just say it out as.
Quick way.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we love our family. Both of us get along with both of our families.
Yeah.
But I just mean, like, we aren't...
No, it's not true.
People who are around our families all the time.
All right, well, either way, I'm going to make this happen. Watch, you're going to see.
Well, I believe you'll make it happen.
And you're coming to watch.
No.
So, Oscar's, I'm going to make this happen, and you're coming to watch. So, I feel like Oscar's saying, like, well, what if we brought okbaby back as a co-parenting channel, and that made us wealthy again? Would you do it then? Like, he's like, I want to make this happen. Like, he's willing to literally... It's almost like a rising tide lifts all ships type of situation where he's willing to, like, make it so that she's wealthy too, so that she'll move back there so that they can be around family and be like, I mean, that's just shit. Don't, but damn, he's willing to. And that should speak volumes.
That's the
You're
part.
right. I don't care about you. The kids are coming.
No, they're not.
I mean, it could be a fight. And I'm pretty sure Oscar would lose because men don't get the benefit of the doubt in all the situation. Even if she did cheat and there was proof and everything else, it doesn't matter. No fault divorce. And they weren't even married, so it doesn't even matter. So no judge is going to be like, yeah, go ahead, Oscar, take your kids to California. She has to come visit you, or the onus is on her. Basically, in the end, if Oscar does go to California, the onus is, the trouble is going to be the kids' travel. It's going to be back and forth, so much travel. And that's just, you're going to lose days of visitations because of travel.
Question number 5.
Do you feel guilty that you created a broken family for your kids?
Yes.
Oscar, you didn't create a broken family for your kids. Kyra did. I don't know. It's Kyra who did it. What?
I feel terribly guilty about this one.
It is hard, but
What?
I have a little bit of a different opinion because, yes, it didn't work out ideally, and,
No. The question was, do you feel guilty about creating a broken family? Oscar, you are not guilty of creating a broken family. Kyra is guilty of breaking this family up. You didn't want this. You didn't ask for the breakup. You even said, hey, if you would have told me went to therapy, you were willing to give it. You were willing to put the work in. Even post, you were like, oh, I would have put the work in. You don't get to, like, I'm sorry. I know people are like, oh, Josh, you're so easy on the guy. He didn't do it. We know that. So what are you saying?
It's different, but realistically, every family has their own version of what family is. And this is just our version. And I do think there's a lot of positives in the way we're doing it, because now our kids...
No, there's not. Nope. You broke up your family, right, which you exploited, by the way, to be with Preston. That's just like the easiest way to say this, because it's exactly what happened. Okay? A person that they knew as someone else. And you think that's good? It's just it's our style of family. Your style of family sucks ass.
See us both happy and healthy, maybe not together, but they see that in the first place, and that's not something I feel like they really saw when we were together. They see that it's okay that sometimes things don't work out, that you shouldn't settle, not just like for a partner, I'm not saying that, but like in general.
God.
Like there's a lot of positives. So yes,
there is no positives here. Well, sorry, yes there is. Oscar's actually the one who went and found himself. He got out of a toxic relationship, even though he didn't want to, but he did. That's the positive here is that Oscar got to discover who he was. And young enough now that he can go live a normal life. Really, truly. He's so young. He's just like, his life's just beginning.
Not ideal, but I do think that there is positives and our kids are happy.
But do you think there's more positives than negatives?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
that means that she's not thinking of her children. So if she was being honest right now, no, there's way more negatives to this. Way more. But she doesn't want to say that because she doesn't want to be told that she's wrong about what she did. And that's just what narcissistic people do. The blame is always shifted. There's always gaslighting. There's no way I'm wrong about this. You effing idiot.
Negative is that other people in the world have families that are together and they look at them and are envious, possibly. That's not something they've ever said, but it's a possibility. But outside of that, this is what they know as their family. And they're okay. This is what they don't know anything different.
Yeah, they do. They knew you guys. What are you saying? Yes, they did. They knew you guys together. What? They don't know anything different. Again, when she's like, when they get older, people are going to see families together. They may be jealous of that, maybe. But what they're also going to say is that people are going to know everything about your whole family. They're going to know what you did, Kyra. They're going to know that you broke your family up to be with Preston. Regardless of how it went down, that's how it ended up. Everybody's going to know that. There are so many kids, obviously, that live in broken families. I get that. But she's being a liar here when she says there's more pros than cons. It's absolutely bullshit.
So they're happy, you know?
Are they?
I mean, my family's both. Everybody I know actually has a broken family.
Yeah, I don't like the term broken family because I grew up in a broken family. I had a really rough childhood.
I don't like the term broken family, but I grew up in a broken family, so I'm going to use the term. Okay.
Childhood, it was very different than this. Family. Yeah, and so...
No, just like you said, all families look different. All broken families look different. It's broken because it's broken. It's broken up. You're not together. So anything that's not together is broken. You can call it a split family if you want, but it's basically called a broken family. That's the moniker that works here. Because you broke it. Also, negatively broke it.
No, I don't like that term because our kids are happy. They have a really good life. Sometimes I'm like, you guys need some hardships to make you like humble because...
Did she just say, I wish my children had hardships so they would be humble? Did she just say those words out loud on the internet with that face? Look at Oscar like, what? You want to wish hardship on your children, but you don't think what you've just gone through is not a hardship on your children? Is she so blind that she thinks that all of this that just went down didn't affect her children at all? That they're just happy that this went down? That mom left dad for Uncle Preston? She thinks her kids are happy. That didn't affect them. She's blind and ignorant and stupid for saying that because it absolutely affected those kids. You might not even see the effects on those children until a few years down the line. She is so gross for saying that. I want my kids to have hardships. Yeah, you put them through a whole shitload of hardships, by the way. Also, you exploited them, which is going to be a hardship for their future. You asshole.
Yeah, but I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't ideal. However, I still think it was necessary for our situation. Question number 6.
Does either of you pay child support? No.
No, we both have 50-50 of the kids, so that's just not like something
we decided, we need to do.
If Oscar shit takes off, though, for whatever reason, if he does a channel and he does get bigger and bigger and he goes viral for a video and makes tons of millions of dollars, and it's quite possible. He's very talented. He could do a lot of cool things. Like he could do like He could do a channel where he's doing adventures, like me going skydiving, me doing this crazy thing, me eating the best burger in California, whatever. I have this idea, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't do the adventure shit, but I have this idea. But he's got a platform, a following, and he's talented enough to make these videos. If he actually goes viral and makes big money, that will change. You watch. She's not going to settle if he's becoming wealthy and she's not. That's why right now, I know Oscar went to a lawyer. I just don't know where it went after that. Right? I want to know that he's protected and that there's paper signed and shit. That anything I make past this, okbaby's channel, that's 50-50. Whatever money comes into there, that's 50-50, fine. No problem. Okay? But anything I make on my own now is mine. You need to get her to sign that. Right now. Get a lawyer involved. Hey, I'm happy to be 50-50 on kids. I'm not going to pay you child support. You're not going to pay me child support. Cool. But if Oscar, because of the two people here who are creators on YouTube, who's going to make the most money? Oscar is. His channel is growing rapidly. Her channel is losing rapidly. He's going to probably be wealthy, and she is probably going to not be wealthy. Okay? Because it's only going to last so much longer where people want to see what's going on. She's not, because she just, at this point, it's all hate watches, where Oscar gets, pity watches, and is growing an audience an audience who actually wants to see his videos. So, unless you have not, and if you haven't done this, Oscar, if you're watching this, you get her to sign something that says any future revenue from here on out is mine. Because she could take you for that later and say, well, he's not famous without me because of okbaby, and could take you for some cash. So be careful, please. Lawyer up. Oscar, #Oscar get a lawyer.
And last but not least, question number 7.
Does Kyra's BF get jealous that you and Kyra still spend time together?
I'm actually curious about this one.
Well, first of all, I can't speak for him. That can be something that he can get on social media and talk about it if he ever desired.
He's not going to.
But I can say that we have very healthy conversations, and we've, had many conversations.
Do you have healthy conversations with the guy you stole from your nanny? Sounds like I don't believe you.
About this, not
sounds like a whole heaping pile of bullshit.
Many, but we've had a few, because I always want to make sure that I'm respecting both myself, you, him. I want everybody to be comfortable, which
I want to respect people. Now you do? Oh, okay. That's convenient.
Sometimes it is hard in life when you're mediating that many people, but my kids are number one. You know that. He knows that.
Liar.
That's all that matters. It doesn't really matter to me if
your kids are number one. Why'd you pull them out of the school? Because it's too expensive, but then go get $15,000 boobs. Do your kids matter to you? Prove it, because your actions say they don't. Not really. That everything that makes you happy matters more to you than what makes your children happy. Because otherwise, why did you break your family up? So, Kyra, stop lying. Your kids are not number one. Maybe they're number 2, but I'm going to say they're number 3. It's Kyra, Preston, kids, then your money. Maybe they're number 4. Kyra, Preston, money, kids. That's what I'm thinking.
Anybody gets jealous or not, because my kids, that's what matters. So
yeah, we can see that. That's a lie.
Yeah, I can't speak for him though.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question.
No, you said 7 questions.
No, I guess you're right, but
do they have a contract? 7 questions? Oh man.
It seems like you're learning from our past relationship and applying that into your new relationships. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely most things that I regret in our relationship. I've changed, especially our respect for each other. I'm not sure.
Oh, so you don't respect Oscar, but now you respect Preston. That's good. That's so nice for Preston that he gets respect, but Oscar didn't. Wow. Damn, this woman. Do you not hear the words coming out of your forehead?
We ever had respect for each other.
Well, we used to joke around a lot, which, I thought it was funny, and, we both thought it was banter and stuff, but when you hear the same jokes over and over and over, they become not funny. And
well, you were effing babies. You were teenagers. You guys were literally developmentally arrested as teenagers because you had babies as teenagers. And so even now, Oscar's still not fully developed. Kyra is not either. And so now, of course, they're going to grow up and become different people. And I honestly believe they will both become completely different people in the next 10 years. Right? Kyra, and this is what I believe, and I hope I'm right. Kyra's going to evaluate once the press and shit goes away and they break up and everything else. She's going to reevaluate all the shitty things she made. She's going to become someone very peaceful. She's going to change her ways, and it's going to take a long time. And maybe it's just because of me. Not until I was 30 or later did I really start changing really who I was and things I didn't like about myself. Right? And to this day, I'm 43 now, and I'm completely a different person than I was a long time ago. And that's what's going to happen here. She will likely wake up someday, and it'll be too late to make any money on it, but she will. And she'll move on, and she'll mature, and she'll be someone completely different. And so will Oscar. But at the time being, they just feel like they want to capitalize on every little thing, and they're not grown up yet, and that's sad.
And they just become kind of rude, which, I don't know. I think that was from my high school mentality. We brought that into our relationship since we got together so young.
Right. There's definitely a lot. I mean, just in general, from 18 to 26, there's a lot that you learn. Yeah. Or we got together when we were 17. 17 to 26, but especially in the last year, I've learned so much about friendships, relationships, myself, how to respect myself.
Stop talking about yourself. You don't respect yourself, Kyra. You don't respect yourself. You love yourself, and you want what's best for yourself over everything else in the world. You are selfish. There's a difference between self-love and selfishness. You're selfish. Otherwise, you didn't do any of this shit. You don't cheat on Oscar. You don't leave him for your nanny's husband. You don't do that. Selfishness. Even if she didn't cheat, let's say she didn't, okay? You still don't. You still, even if you're a person of any moral integrity, you are not with Preston. Even if Preston and Hannah broke up for reasons that weren't like this, it doesn't matter. You don't. Because if you valued friendships like you say you did, like you just like I'm reassessing and learning about friends, you don't have any friends. No, because all you care about is yourself. It is pure, unadulterated selfishness. And again, one day she'll see that.
It's truly, if you don't love and respect yourself, you can't provide that for somebody else. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of...
You also can't provide for other people if you are selfish. When everything is about you, and your needs and wants, and strange taint, and boobs, and nails, and cars, and houses, and everything else, and the way you travel, and purses, and expensive lifestyles, and shit like that. When it's all about you, and she'll say, I'm just me. I gotta love myself. Yeah, that'd be great. I get that, but that's your only focus, which again is selfish. Oscar is selfless because again, he's proven it time and time again. By even being gracious with this type of video where he could have thrown her under the bus. He's selfless for his children. She is selfish for herself. Two different people. But selfish people tend to align themselves with selfless people because opposites attract. A selfish person will not do well with another selfish person. Okay, it just doesn't work. And so there's always going to be a type A. So there's always going to be, type A with a type B. That's generally that's generally cohesive. Right? You can't have two type A's because button heads all together are always going to be like fighting for top spot. And the thing about being selfish is it's never going to serve you until you get over that shit. Because selfish people are always wanderlusts. They always want what they can't have or want something new because they're bored because they're selfish. Because it's me. I need me to be happy. And all of a sudden something didn't make me happy. And so now I'm going to change that. I want me to be happy because my happiness is all that matters.
Things, and I mean, there was goods about our relationship. I don't want to be like it was all bad because that's not true. Mm-hmm. But there definitely was a lot of toxicity.
Yeah, we were just too young and we didn't know better. We were really immature. I feel like it's sad.
Still are.
That it took this to like learn more about how friendships work, how relationships should be. But that's good that it sounds that like you're applying those things into your new relationship. It sounds like it's healthier, which is great. I hope I have the same.
That is not Oscar, sorry, you're wrong. That is not a relationship born from healthiness. That is a toxic bullshit relationship that's not going to last. Sounds like you're doing good. No, it sounds like she's selfish. And it sounds like she broke up your family, that marriage, and threw all her friends under the bus for her own desires. So no, it doesn't sound like it's good to anybody, especially not the kids.
When I do find
because when that shit goes under, and it will, right? Because Kyra is this type of person, regardless how long it lasts, she's going to do it to Preston too for something better later. Or what she conceives is better. Those kids are just going to see, and the kids are going to be able to model that. So Oscar, you need to have a way bigger influence in your children so they don't end up like her.
Future relationship. And this also taught me to pick up on red flags before, like as you're dating. Was he?
Basically saying I had red flags that you could have paid attention to.
Well,
yeah, no, exactly.
Well, no, but like things that I didn't like in our relationship, I can already spot, and it's been easier to spot earlier into like dating than ever before. And
he's right, and she's right. They're both right. Oscar's now going to be like, that's a Kyra red flag. I don't want that in my life. Right? Absolutely. And again, this is why teenagers shouldn't be in long-term relationships, shouldn't be having babies, shouldn't be encouraging this type of behavior. You should not be. Teenagers cannot do this. And it's just, again, one more argument in favor of not exploiting children online. Okay? You're not old enough to understand. These people are not old enough to make adult decisions. So stop encouraging this bullshit. It's bad. Wait a bit.
Well, I think that also is just kind of like you realize what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with.
Exactly.
So like the term red
Cheating.
flags, that's
you're right.
I can't speak for you, but I'm just saying
Shut up.
for me that is something. Like there's things in our relationship that I was like, okay, fine, I'll put up with it, and it's like, yes, there is always good and bad in your partner.
And so there's no red flag with Preston leaving his wife to go to Vegas threesomes. You don't see a red flag there at all? None? Deviancy? No, I know it's kinks. Everybody's like, don't kink shame, whatever. Do what you got to do. But you have kids. Like you don't see a red flag in a dude that's not going to be happy with you, that wants to engage with other women while he's with you. You don't see that as a red flag. I know I'm old fashioned in the way that I'm saying this. That's a red flag to me. Okay, they're not going to be, if they're like, okay, I want to go out and get a girl who's busty and all this kind of stuff because you're just not. I mean, people who are leaving their relationships to go get strange taint and to have threesomes and stuff, they're not happy in their relationship, or they just can never be satiated, which is another red flag. Okay, and so if you're allowing that, I just feel like you don't see that as a red flag, but a guy who wanted to stay with you because he loved you, that's the red flag. Preston is a walking massive red flag. Wow. It looks like you're learning, though.
There is going to be things that you don't like, and you have to weigh out the goods and the bads, but it's also okay to have boundaries with certain things, and I really don't think either of us had boundaries that should have been there.
Yeah, we didn't know better.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that that's the life we live, huh?
Yeah. How do these people get famous?
It's not that it was bad. It was just like so.
No, it was bad.
Naive. That's what we were so naive. Yeah. I wonder if we still are, and we're gonna look back on this and be like, damn, we were.
Yes, you still are.
We'll always learn. We'll probably look back at this and think different things, but I do think that
Kyra's gonna, when she turns in her, I hope, because Jess Fem's almost like getting up there in age too, and she doesn't seem to be maturing whatsoever. So I hope, the only way they're really gonna change is if they get off the internet, go get therapy, and start living a normal life, because this shit ain't normal.
And this is another benefit for our kids. Like if our kids would have grown up seeing our relationship that way, they would have gone into relationships like that. And yes, they'll probably still make.
Excuse me? Okay. So our kids saw us having a toxic relationship. Let's say it was. Okay, fine. And so you just admitted your kids are going to grow up thinking that's normal and do that. Okay, so now what's the alternative? What have you shown your kids to do now? It's okay to steal someone else's husband and get with them while breaking up your family. That's what you've shown your kids, Kyra. It's okay to be selfish if it's all about your wants and desires. You can't make this up. You can't write this. The best writers in Hollywood couldn't write this shit. Okay, you can't do it. So, they saw us having fights like everybody does, and they say that's normal. But then you're normal to teach your children is to do what you did? You're normal is to go to Vegas and have threesomes? Are you out of your mind? Dumbass!
Similar mistakes, because that's just the process of learning and growing. Yeah. But I do think that hopefully they can see again that it's not okay not to have respect in a relationship. You do need boundaries and all the different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
This is a huge learning curve. Very, very interesting. I think to sum up our entire relationship, it's just
shit
that we were way too young.
Yep.
We were naive. We thought we knew better. And man, it's just so.
Both of our egos were.
And you exploited children and made millions of dollars on YouTube. So you became internet famous and never really experienced life as real people who had to get jobs and shit. You never experienced hardships. And she's like, I want hardships for my kids. Okay. But you never did. The only hardships you experienced were getting called out online and shit like that. That's it. So that's a big one. You guys have not lived a real life yet. Not even close.
Yeah, our egos were too big. It's so sad because, dang, I'm very happy, and I would never take back what we did because I have my 4 beautiful children. We were able to live an amazing life, but I do feel a little bit embarrassed that we promoted young relationships and showing people that we could do it the right way together, and now it's kind of we're just a statistic.
That's crazy. And hear what he just said there. We promoted that, and I feel like he would agree with me if I asked him this question, do you think that teenagers should follow in your footsteps what you did? He would say absolutely no. Kyra would be like, whatever, it makes me happy. But Oscar would say no. That's bullshit. Kids should not be doing and making decisions like these kids were making. Do you really want that for your kids? Do you want your kids to be having babies as teenagers and shit like that? You know what? I know I'm going to say this out loud. Jess Fam would be ecstatic if her teenagers had babies. Ecstatic. She'd be celebrating that from the freaking heights of Eiffel Tower. Hey, look, I'm here with my granddaughter or whatever. That she would absolutely celebrate that shit. Some people would. but don't. Want better things for your children. Life experiences that don't include long-term relationships that could affect them. I don't think anybody should be in long-term relationships until you're... I know everybody's like, well, my parents were together since they were 12 and they're good. Okay, that's the exception, not the rule. The rule is to go live your life a little bit. To go experience life. That's what I'm hoping for my kids. Right? If you find the love of your life, fine. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, don't do it on the internet, maybe?
I don't know. I feel like we should be proud of what we have achieved and not just...
What have you achieved, Kyra? What have you achieved? Give me one thing that you've achieved. Internet fame? From what? Exploiting your children? That's not an achievement. I mean, it's an achievement as in, like, we achieved money and shit, but it's a bad achievement. People who are like, look at our achievements. You have not built or done anything. You made videos, shitty videos at that, and put them on YouTube. It's not an achievement. Okay, it's not, and you've unlocked an achievement. You don't get you get trophies because YouTube gives you trophies, but that's shameful. So I'm telling you. So, look, I think we should like stand on our achievements. What have you achieved? What did you give people that was like, oh yeah, what did you build into the world that made the world a better place? Name one thing you did that made the world a better place.
Because it didn't work out ideally, throw it all, like, it all was bad.
Yeah, you're right, huh? I don't know why
it was all bad.
I keep looking at it like that. Maybe because it was just such a big life change.
Stop agreeing with her. She's wrong.
And we're still working through it. I'm like, oh, man, I messed up.
Oscar's taking, do you notice one thing in this whole video? Oscar took the blame for almost all of this. Kyra didn't take one lick of blame whatsoever.
Well, we're doing great. We're working on each other. We are working on bettering ourselves separately and using the lessons we learned over this last year to better our own lives now. We were a little too young. We were a little too naive. So learn from us. Mature a little more before you decide to make such...
Thank God. You'd never hear Kyra say that.
Decisions like we made. And yeah, I feel like that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this update video / Q&A. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
All you have to do is watch Oscar's other videos and realize that he's absolutely broken and sad in this video. He wears his shit on his sleeve, but you have to read between the lines too. So yeah, that video is just a big video of Oscar saying, oh, I'm fault. I did everything wrong. I'm bad. Again, that's called humility. And remember, I talk about this a lot. People love people who have humility. If you have humility and are willing to admit you're wrong, blah, blah, maybe Oscar was wrong to a degree, for sure. But at least he's willing to admit it. Whereas Kyra would never, ever sit and say, no. None of this is my fault. I need me. I need to be happy. And so in order for me to be who I needed to be authentically, I needed to throw everybody into the bus, steal people's husbands, and do all this shit. That's what I needed to do for me. You'll never hear Kyra admit that she was wrong. So sad. So damn sad. And you don't wonder why people are on Oscar's side? Well, there you go. And the strange, creepy smiles, too. That's another reason, so... Anyway, apparently, someone said in the Reddit thread that Kyra had 3 boob movies already, so I gotta go watch those and tear that shit to shreds. And I thought she was getting like bazookas. I guess not, because that video. So good for you then, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Take a deep breath. Gold Peak. Delicious. You're amazing, incredible, valuable. Don't you forget it. Don't make dumb choices. Don't exploit your children. Forgive yourself if you have to. Don't fly flare either, okay? Just don't. I promise you'll regret it. And I will see you